Good morning, Peter Hyslop with your 8:30 Hunter News update. Hunter Region Botanic Gardens have struggled to stay financially stable after being closed for an extended period. It comes after storms earlier this month downed 100 trees on the property. Armies of volunteers have been called in, but they say there's still much work to do. Events manager Jeannie Lawson says the damage isn't limited to trees.
We had a 40-foot gum tree fall on our cubby house, which has completely demolished it. So that has to be rebuilt. And numerous other smaller structures, a few minor roofs damaged for our picnic shelters, things like that.
Police are appealing for information on the whereabouts of 29-year-old Philippa Breslin missing from Port Stephens. Police and family hold concerns for her welfare as her disappearance is out of character. She's being described as being of Caucasian appearance, about 170 centimetres tall, with dyed blonde and red hair. She's known to frequent the Nelson Bay, Shoal Bay and Mudgee areas. Anyone with information's being asked to contact Crime Stoppers. We've posted her photo to the 2NURFM Hunter News Facebook page. A man in his 20s is in hospital following a hang gliding accident yesterday afternoon. Emergency services were called to Dudley just before 1:30 p.m. after reports a man had suffered facial and arm fractures. Police and paramedics were sent to the Rockpool area before the man was rushed to John Hunter Hospital. The launch spot on Bombala Street at Dudley is in the spotlight after a string of recent incidents. Therese Doyle has been announced as the Greens candidate for Shortland in the upcoming federal election and will challenge incumbent Labor MP Pat Conroy. She's campaigning for a transition to renewable energy sources and says there needs to be an economic plan to ensure a transition for workers out of fossil fuel industries.
We need to seriously invest in renewable energy projects here and making sure that, for example, Tomago aluminium really does make the transition to being sourced from renewable energy.
Also on her agenda is free access to healthcare, housing and high-quality education. She says it's achievable if corporations are taxed more heavily. A 21-year-old man will face court after a shooting attempt caused a 36-year-old man to walk into the Mater Hospital with a gunshot wound to his neck. Newcastle City Police detectives established Strike Force Fontanta to investigate. A 21-year-old man was arrested at Maryland after a crime scene was established at a Waratah West home. Police allegedly found a loaded firearm, ammunition and other items during a search of the 21-year-old's car. He'll face court on March 19, charged with multiple offences including intent to murder. The Energy and Water Ombudsman says Hunter Water's proposed price rises will impact vulnerable community members. Ian Crouch explains.
The Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal has received 38 submissions as part of a review on maximum prices Hunter Water will be allowed to charge from mid-2025. The review takes into account the cost of services and the social impact of price increases. In a submission, the Energy and Water Ombudsman says the utility will need to mitigate affordability impacts for renters, large households and vulnerable people. The Ombudsman is strongly recommending expanding the current concession scheme to cover more groups than pensioners. Hunter Water says all prices need to increase. The non-drought water usage rate could increase by as much as 52% from the current charge by 2030.
2NURFM Sport.
The Jets could turn to their new faces to help them level the playing field for this Saturday's F3 derby with the Mariners. There's a possibility recruit Kota Mizunuma could make his first start for the club after impressing in his debut on Saturday against Perth. Coach Rob Stanton says the Japanese international's recovery will be the deciding factor.
We'll see how he pulls up as well. You know, it's been a really busy week for him, a lot of media, and we trained quite hard, and because we hadn't trained for a couple of weeks, we're just in recovery. So it'll be interesting to see how he pulls up.
The family of Newcastle jockey Blake Spriggs has come out to quell reports he is still in a coma following a post by the Australian Jockeys Association. According to the family, Blake has had positive news from all doctor reports and has been responsive and able to communicate when he can. And Hunter Wildfire's coach Darren Coleman has recruited several national team and New South Wales Waratahs personnel for the team's staff for the upcoming Shoot Shield season. That's sport. I'm Jessie Dennett.
And the winning numbers in Monday Lotto are 9, 10, 14, 31, 36 and 37, and the supplementaries are 11 and 29. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.